And welcome. We're finally gonna do it. After lots and lots... Damn, the camera is... I'm gonna build a Ryzen PC again, yes, and you're gonna come along for the ride. We're gonna take a look at the components we're gonna use for the budget PC. So if you wanna have a budget mid-tier gaming PC or mid-tier gaming PC, that's what you could actually do. Because yes, this PC is actually from my mother, and that's already, even though it was very cheap, overkill for her. But if you want to do low to mid-tier gaming, this could also be a PC for you. The case that we're gonna use, we're gonna use a fractal design case, as you can see. This is the fractal, what's it called? Fractal Design Focus G. I love fractal cases. I always use them, and guess it's all metal. Aside from the window here, that's a plastic window. We're gonna look inside soon, but there are even LED fans included, 2 LED fans. And you have dust filters on the bottom, on the top, and you have top I/O, USB 3.0, USB 2.0, microphone, headphone. I think that's the light for when it's on. You have a reset, a reset button, yes, a reset button, and a start button, of course. Again, all metal. How much do you guess that I spend? Well, I just spent $44 on this. $44 for a fractal design, awesome looking case. So yeah, it all starts with RAM. So yeah, we have some Vengeance LPXX RAM, or LPX, some 8 GB stick. It's actually almost exact stick that I have in my PC. I have 2 sticks at 3200 megahertz. This one looks exactly the same, but only goes 3000 megahertz, so fast RAM. And since again it's a PC for my mom, and she only uses, keep in mind, Word, Excel, and she doesn't game, and she does nothing graphically intense. 8 gigabytes. I would say you should never go, these days you shouldn't go under 8 gigabytes, but 8 gigabytes, if you don't do anything graphically intense, it's enough. So yeah, that's why only 8 gigabytes, and actually 33 bucks, so not expensive. Corsair, another Corsair product. Yes, if you've seen my latest video, you know, Corsair power supplies have had a rough time in the last days. But again, the first fail that I had with a Corsair PSU was accident. The second one was my mistake, so never was it Corsair's fault. So I really believe in this brand, and for me, power supplies is a component you really shouldn't cheap out on, because if you buy a crappy Chinese something brand and the power supply shorts suddenly or breaks, it could just damage all of your other components, and that could get really expensive really fast. So spend some money. It's good if you spend more money on a power supply in order to have a good one. Of course, you need to buy one that watt-wise has enough watt for your PC, of course. But also, in my opinion, the most important thing is that it's certified, 80+ certified. Now again, it depends what you need, what you want. If you want to game and want to do high loads onto your PC, and you want your power supply to last long, then you should get this one here, the 80+ gold certified. It's almost the highest it can get. There is a platinum certified even more, but that's more for server and PCs who are running all the time, so you don't need that. For my mother's PC, actually gold is actually too much. I think bronze would have been fine, but I got this one. And yes, I know you'll be shouting at me right now, David, you're building an ATX PC and you got an SFX power supply. That's for the smaller PCs, you idiot. Yes, I know. It was my mistake. I made a mistake. I looked at the price and I forgot to look what type it is. I don't know, at the picture it looked like a normal power supply. So I was Googling, because I know when you send stuff back to Amazon, sometimes it gets trashed. And I didn't want this to get trashed, because again, I mean, it's a brand new power supply. It's nothing's wrong with it. Just bought the wrong one. And I found out actually that you can power your normal ATX PC also with this. It's not that it can't power it. It's essentially the same power supply, just in a smaller format. The only problem is that you can't mount it, because the mounting position is off, because it's for an ATX power supply. And that's why, because I didn't want this to get trashed, I thought about eco-friendliness, you know. I got myself an SFX to ADX adapter for $7. Now you might say, just send it back, you save yourself the money. Again, I didn't want it to get trashed. It's a brand new power supply. Let's talk about two more components that we're gonna build in that are a bit less exciting probably for most of you. And that is this mysterious brown box here. Essentially what we have here is the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth card for the PC. So that's what we got. And I don't know about your country, but if you don't have any crazy internet speeds above 100 Mbit, you don't need to buy the fancy new network cards. The cheaper ones are almost always enough. And yes, I know many people will be saying, what? In 2020? Yes, my mother wanted a DVD drive. So yeah, that's why I got a DVD drive for insanely cheap, because again, it's quite old tech now. But yeah, my mom wanted one, so I bought one. What I also bought is this here, because again, my mom doesn't need a high power PC, but what she wants is the PC to be fast. And therefore, I bought her the fastest thing you can get right now as a consumer, and that's an NVMe-SSD. So I bought this as a change, and that is also Asus Prime. Again, it costs $80, so not that expensive. I know no fancy LED or something, but again, my mother doesn't. No wait, it actually has it. But yeah, my mother doesn't need the fancy stuff like that. So, but it's actually a very advanced motherboard. You get more slots also for the price, so it's more future-proof. So that's good. And here, I've looked for it now. There's the NVMe 2 slots as well. So we now can also put that in. So we got the motherboard, and now we come to the heart, the everything, the heart, the brain that makes everything work. Introducing Ryzen 3200G. Yes, here it is. I've only ever built one Ryzen PC in my life. That was a Ryzen 3006. Yeah, exactly. A Ryzen 3600X, and that was an amazing CPU. And even though that won't stack up to this one I'm really excited about, because the Ryzen 3200G, if you didn't know, has an APU inside it. It says it here, Radeon graphics. Processor with Radeon graphics. Let me focus that. There we go, processor with Radeon graphics. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. The heart of everything. It's gonna be the first thing. AMD right now is killing it. They're kicking Intel's butt, literally. They also include a good fan in the box, so I could save myself some money. Again, my mom doesn't do any intensive work on her PC, so that surely is enough. And she doesn't really care if it's a bit louder, because I heard that from a friend, which I also used, this cooler, just with fancy LED as well. It's the other version of this cooler that exists with the more expensive CPUs. I heard from him that the CPU cooler is a bit louder, so you can hear it if it gets stressed a bit. But again, my mother doesn't really care about that, so that's why I got that. Ryzen 3. I'm really excited. So now, without further ado, build the PC, and you're gonna go along for the ride.